What's up, everybody? This is Jose from Southern Life. Thank you for taking the time to be in our channel. Well, there's a few things I miss about Alabama. You guys know we were in Alabama for exactly a year and 2 days. And in the last month, we had to kind of disappear, and we didn't have plans to leave Alabama. Economically, everything was going well, way better than in Florida. Well, I love my home state of Florida. It's so hard to make it there. Like, we were just in not Traverse City, Marquette, Michigan. Town of 22,000 people. They have a Mayor's, they have a Walmart, and they have a Target. Lehigh Acres, 200,000 people almost. Nothing. It's really hard in Florida. Like, in other states, you're given so much opportunity. I really prospered economically in Alabama, and then in the last month, everything that I had worked for, people started trying to take it from me, and I lost a lot in the last month. But we bought our house for $65,000. We sold it for $138,000. That's more than double appreciation. We had a property in Florida that we bought for. It didn't appreciate. Like, I don't know how much money we got into it, but it wasn't a win. Like, it was not a win. I think it was bought initially by our family for $95,000, and we got $107,000. So it appreciated $13,000 in like a 10 to 12 year period. That's how little the property in Florida appreciated. We bought something even cheaper in Alabama, and it doubled in price in a year. Exactly a year. Doing stuff to it. And I wasn't even home all the time. I was on the road a lot. So, like, Florida, I love Florida, and we didn't plan on leaving Alabama. Alabama was a situation that occurred that we decided for our safety we had to get out of there. So when we decided to leave Alabama, we didn't have the ability to plan out what we were going to do. We just knew we had to get out, put the house on the market. We actually fled for a while and kind of hid out. Like, we were posting stuff on Facebook that was old, and we were kind of misleading all the people there. Like, we kind of just pretended that we were doing one thing, we were doing another, just so that we can be able to leave Alabama safely. Our realtor played us a really nasty card. She knew the buyers, and they were trying to kind of finesse us out of our house. So it took a lot of courage to deal with the realtors and the home sale, and all that process was just every trick in the book they pulled on us to kind of muscle us. But we got the house sold. One day I look at the bank. I'm in Florida with like $700 left. We were in Florida. I look at the bank account, and boom, the money for the house sale came through. Because after the house sale, there was a lot of problems, which I'm not going to get into. But they didn't even tell us they had bought the house. Like, they had kind of put locks on the house before we got it. The buyer's agent changed the lock box, and it's just a horrible nightmare situation where they were kind of trying to take the house before it was theirs, and they started breaking stuff and saying things were broken. It was just a nightmare. But one day I looked at the bank account, and the money was there. So we got the money for the house. After commissions and stuff, we only got it wasn't even a lot, like 118, so cool. The reason I share with you guys a lot of our finances isn't to brag, isn't to, I don't know. It's because, and it's not really anything worth bragging about, because at our age, it's about what we should be. But it's because I want you guys to understand the consequences of your actions. When you do something economically, there's consequences. So we bought a car that was almost $50,000 with that 118. We bought a lot for under $20,000, so there's like $70,000 gone right there. There's some moving expenses that were just ridiculous. Stuff we had to do personal, so money goes quickly. And now we go on this road trip, which I want to continue, but I realize that we need to get back to Florida and kind of get our lives back in order. Because it's been draining, it's been difficult being on the road, it's tiring. But I didn't want to leave Alabama. When I left Alabama, it was because we had to. Now we're in Florida, and we had to retreat back to Florida because I don't want to move to the Carolinas or anywhere in the South and repeat Alabama. I feel like where I'm coming from, And the places that my people are able to live are places that economically are like rigged against you. Alabama is so easy. Jobs pay good. People are lazy. Workplaces aren't competitive. I mean, it's a place where if you wanted to work, you can really stack up some money because nobody else is trying to do it. Housing is affordable. Housing is appreciating. It's a really easy place. Where Florida, it's a complete opposite. It's competitive. You can't get ahead. You get stuck economically. Your bank account doesn't grow, it shrinks. So for me to walk away from Alabama, it was like, okay, economically we're doing great, but our safety was being jeopardized incredibly. And I don't want to have to carry a stick this big to go to the gas station. That's not life. That's not living. I might be poor in Florida, but I got my people that love me, and I got my family and a few friends. It's not a thousand of them, but it's enough to where it's home. And while I struggled a lot in Florida, I don't want to go back to the same position. But let me tell you, in Alabama, I hit the ground running. As soon as I landed in Alabama, we started making money. I've been in Florida for a little bit now. It took me 3 weeks just to get my driver's license. And it was by appointment, and they kept canceling our appointments. Somebody told me a trick that I used to be able to cut the line to get my license because the way they tell you you're supposed to do it doesn't really work. So they don't even want you to get a license. Without a license, you can't do anything. So Florida really is a place that's rigged up against you. So if you're moving to Florida and you don't have a good nest egg, you know, you're going to struggle. It's not a place for young people. There are no opportunities. When we just did South Carolina, we've been to Alabama, lived in it for a year, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas. We just did South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Michigan. Now we're going to head up to Wisconsin, right across the street from Wisconsin. Kentucky, Tennessee. We travel a lot, at least on the East Coast. We still got to get out to the West Coast, which is going to have to be on a different trip. We decided we can't do it right now. We got too much on our plate. We just can't do it. It's not that I don't want to. And people are like, oh, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Now that we're on the road, we got to do it all. I agree, but there's so much on our plate. It's overwhelming. Like, our minds just got to go back to Florida, take care of our law, take care of getting her real estate license. And once we've done some of those things we need to do, as far as getting settled in Florida, then we can kind of go back and think, okay, what the crap we're going to do with our lives. You know, another thing was getting settled in Florida. I'm from Collier County, Naples. Couldn't even find a rental. I talked to realtors that I knew, that I've worked for many years, and I was like, I'll pay $4,000 a month if I have to. I'll pay whatever to come back to Naples. There's nothing on the market. Even though we had cash money, they want you to have the requirements that they want you to make 3 times the rent. So if the rent's $2,000, then you gotta make $6,000 a month. I don't make $6,000 a month, especially with all these things that are going on right now. So if you're not making $6,000 a month, then you can't rent a place that's $2,000. So we put a deposit on a property. We show up and we start learning about the HOA and all the requirements they had and what was going on in the community. And let me tell you, these HOAs are frauds. We looked at a bunch of other houses with HOAs, and the more we looked into them, the more we realized this is not what we want in our lives, what we need in our lives, because these HOAs are frauds. So we lost a deposit for $1,000 on a property. Luckily, they gave us back $500 because we were quick about letting them know when we had changed our minds. We lost about $500 in these application fee scams where they know you don't qualify, but they still take your application fee until we figured it out. Another realtor that was going to get us into a house in Lehigh Acres, out of all places. I don't want to live in Lehigh Acres. I live near Lehigh Acres now, but not in it. They wanted me to be in Lehigh Acres. It would have just drained us economically. It's like, once we came to Florida, like, all the things we had worked for just kind of started to dissolve. It's like, economically, now we're going to have to live life differently. We've been paid off homeowners all this time. Now we're moving into renting from somebody. Luckily, somebody said, hey, Jose, come over here, bro, I got you. Because we were really struggling just to find a place. We found a place in a safe community. We're good. I don't have to worry about what's going on back home when I'm on the road. And if I need something, I got somebody there. And I got close to my family again. which I need. Being alone, I like being alone, but sometimes you need family. And I think snowboarding would work for us great in the future, because for 6 months of the year we could be alone out here in Michigan, maybe, hopefully. And then, when it gets cold, be down there with our family. We'll get to that eventually. We're gonna have to save up money again, probably buy a house up here in Michigan, even if it's just a little cabin or something. Katie's gonna get her real estate license. We'll start saving money to buy a place up here in Michigan. She's got people up here in Michigan too, so at least we can say, hey, cut the grass, or what's going on. Because in Alabama, I thought about keeping the property in Alabama, but we weren't there. We had nobody. I was there for a year. I helped so many people in Alabama. I mean, I did so much for so many people in Alabama. And when I needed somebody to go see if I can get the grass cut, I couldn't even get that done. Everybody that I met in Alabama, kind of when they saw me going through troubles, they kind of hid from me. So they're very hypocritical, very, fake friendly. Because when they saw difficulties, they immediately withdrew from us. So what I miss about Alabama, Jack's. I love Jack's. I think we can get it in Tennessee on the way back, or Mississippi. We're going to have to go up through the South at some point. We'll get it somewhere. I miss Jack's. I miss making easy money. And I miss the slower speed of life, which this is a lot slower up here in the North. Way slower than the South. There's a lot of things I miss about living in the country. Like the real country. So I do miss a lot of the stuff in Alabama. But I realized by visiting Michigan that, like, a lot of the things that I miss about Alabama, I can supplement somewhere else, because, the whole entire country package, Alabama's not the only country place in the States. There's a lot of places where I can get that country package up here in Michigan. So I think in the future I will consider snowboarding in Michigan, but that's far away. Now we got to get back to Florida, save money. So I do miss Alabama, and I think it does have a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. Unfortunately, it feels like those opportunities are reserved for certain people and not extended to other people. And if you are benefiting from that, it's a very one-sided thing. You have to pretend to be somebody you're not, and I don't want to do that. Looks like here in the North, people are a lot more, Alabama's in this extreme, the North seems to be the other extreme, so people are more welcoming. They're more, and Katie's from here, that changes everything. She's got people here on the ground, so I think eventually we will have to not move out of Florida temporarily, but at least try to get a little cabin in the woods up north, and we can save up and we can do it. We got a new truck to get around to work. We still got the Yukon. We got 2 trailers to work out of sitting in Florida. We got money in the bank to take care of whatever we need. We got a really affordable renting situation in a great location. So we're positioning ourselves to where we'll be in the future able to do better for us, and be able to help you guys as well. So it's not the position I want to be in, but I guess through difficulties you learn how to be stronger. And yes, we're in a much tougher situation now economically, but that's what's going to help us become stronger. So everything's been a learning experience. I kind of wanted to keep my money all in the real estate, so if I needed to withdraw it, move it. But again, when I left Alabama, I wanted to just grab that net worth and just throw it all into real estate again. But it doesn't make sense right now because there's nothing affordable. So we're going to position ourselves, invest in ourselves, education for both of us. And all that's going to help us be better prepared in the future. And, well, that's all I got. A lot of times when I tell you guys stuff about myself like that, 6 months later, somebody makes a comment like, "Oh, I thought you said you left Alabama," or "I thought you said that you bought a truck for $50,000," and they try to like use that against you. So when I give you guys this information, it's because I want to help you guys. I want to see you guys. We have made mistakes. Do I regret leaving Naples, Florida? I don't. I would never want to go back to where I was before. Though I wish I had that property right now. It would be great to have that property right now. But it's in the old hood I came from, where I don't want to go back to living that old life. I want to move forward with life. I'm not afraid to keep going. So, yeah, we're in a more difficult situation because we had a net worth in real estate that we could pick up, sell, leave, and move. And now our net worth is distributed between lots, vehicles, bank accounts. We're just kind of like really diversified right now. And that's kind of weird for me. I don't like diversity. I like to kind of have my things all in one place. That if I can kind of, like when we had our money in Naples, it took 2 years to sell our property in Naples. 2 years. Our house in Alabama took 2 hours. So You can see the difference between how easy it is to make a living in Alabama and how easy economically it is versus how hard it is in Florida. And yes, our property in Florida took 2 years to sell because it was in a bad neighborhood. Nobody wanted to touch it. And as soon as the lockdowns came in, boom, that's when we sold it because finally there was enough, people were desperate enough to jump on it. So that's where we are. And I don't give you guys this information so that 6 months or a year from now you can say, remember you said this or that, because there's always an idiot that says something like that. I give you guys this information so that you guys can understand I want to help people. And by helping people, sometimes I put myself in a really nasty situation. But I believe that the greater good is accomplished by showing you my struggles and what I go through. And I hope that now that I go back to Florida, we purchase a piece of land. I want to see if I can get it cleared, prepared, and do something with that land. Could I build a house on it? Right now, houses in that neighborhood where I bought my lot are going of upwards of $350,000 to $400,000, which means I would have to spend about that much money to put a house in it, and that's more than double my net worth, which means I can't do it right now. But at least we own the land. I want to buy more land here in Michigan. We've looked around a lot. If I could find a lot, I've already saw like a lot of towns, so I know what, and I have an idea now of where I would and I wouldn't. So if the right lot comes on the market here in Michigan, I would jump on it. Where Katie's from, we can get lots there for $2,000, but the HOA fees are like almost an HOA in taxes will put us almost at $1,000 a year, so the math doesn't add up to buy those lots. But if a lot came within that vicinity without an HOA fee, I would jump on it. So that's where we are right now. Now, I don't think that buying a house in our price range would appreciate. It would become a money pit, and that would never be worth that. So if I gotta live in Florida, it doesn't make sense for me to put all my net worth into a house in Florida, which would be a mobile home I'll never appreciate. We've already done that, and it didn't work. Remember, I said I bought for $95. Our family bought for $95, and we sold for $107. That means in 10 years, it appreciated $13,000 after I put $70,000 in it, so we really lost money there. So that didn't make sense. So why would I do that again? We gotta do something different. I bought a lot for 17. I bet I could sell this lot for 25 or 30 within the next month if I wanted to, and that would cover the expenses of our travels. But I like the street it's on. It's a good street, and I probably don't want to let go of it because, you know, whatever, I got my plans. So when something doesn't work, you try something else. Now we're trying something else, you know, and there's nothing wrong with coming back to Florida. I don't look at it as coming back to Florida. I look at it as, okay, let's touch base now. What's our next move? Florida is home. It'll always be my home, and it's where I got people that love me and appreciate me. And it was incredible to drive into New York City, a place I've never been to, and have somebody know who I was. It was incredible that through YouTube I can go to a place I've never been to and people know who I am. And we got more to do on this YouTube. That's where we're at right now. Incredible decisions we're making, and I hope it could be for the best. Worst case scenario, we deplete our resources and reduce our net worth. But if we're happy and we're enjoying life in the process like we have in the last few weeks traveling, then that's all life is about. Like, I think when I watch all these other YouTubers, all they talk about is money and invest and this and my stock and Jeff Bezos and Mark Twain and my investment guy and I just got Bitcoin and my wallet and all these YouTubers, all they talk about is invest. Bro, like, I don't care about that anymore. Because I realized with the situation I went through in Alabama that somebody could set you up and you could be over with in a heartbeat. So what good is it for me to have $150,000 net worth, liquid, or in the property if I'm not happy, if I could lose it all? The most important thing, what you breathe, the air you breathe, your life. What good is it to have all these material things if tomorrow you don't know what's going to happen to you? So you have to find a life balance and do things that make you happy. Buying this lot made me happy. Buying that Silverado made me happy. Coming on this road trip made me happy. And now getting Katie her real estate license and stacking up money again eventually at some point will make us happy. But we're not doing it with that Mongol mentality. We're doing it because it makes us happy and we're helping people in the process. And I want you guys who are moving across country to really think about this, because your family is your main thing. If you're leaving California and you have family in California, think about renting a garage from somebody and saying, hey, I'm gonna move to Kentucky. I'm gonna buy. Don't buy a $400,000 house in Kentucky. Buy a $100,000 house in Kentucky. Okay. Buy a $100,000 house and tell somebody in California, hey, we're gonna spend the winters here with our family, and then we're gonna spend, whatever the crap, where you're still transitioning into that place. And I'm gonna tell anybody that's moving into places that are different, don't invest too much money in a place you don't understand, because you don't know what type of thing could happen there. You could get muscled out. You move into a small town, and the realtor, the inspector, everybody could be in cahoots together to take your money, to take your property. So don't ever just move into a small little place like that and think you got it all made, because you don't know what you're going to encounter. Make sure your family's first. We're all going through hard times, but if you keep a simple mind, you don't try to overstep, you don't try to get 100 acres in Kentucky or some crap like that. No, just get a little piece of property that makes you happy and just take it slow. It doesn't hurt to travel before you move. What a great tool. I mean, you can literally stay in a hotel for $5,000. You could stay for a month in a town, but eating at restaurants, staying in hotels, just feel the place out before you move. I think we're moving, especially us millennials, we're moving way too fast, and we're making too many mistakes, and we're getting caught up in this greed and this materialism and this desire to want more and more. Just be happy with what you got. And remember that the most important thing is being in your family and friends you love. And while Florida was difficult for me, I never got ahead economically, and I had to leave for a little bit. But I came back, but I didn't come back for an economical perspective. My economical perspective was in Alabama. You guys have seen how much my net worth grew, how much my YouTube grew. That wasn't for an economical perspective. It was because I realized what really mattered. So make sure you got your priorities straight before you move somewhere else. And we'll keep telling you guys updates on how we're doing. Hopefully we're doing better. But if we're doing worse economically or better, your happiness doesn't come from that. Check it out.